There is an asymmetry in the diabolical lengths that one side is willing to go to grab power. It's sometimes possible to see the effects of gerrymandering when you add up the national popular vote. In 2012, House Democrats won 50.59% of the votes, 1.37 million more votes than House Republicans. Yet somehow Republicans ended up with 33 more seats in the House than Democrats, 234 to 201. This result was entirely intentional, the result of a long-range strategy known as REDMAP, the Republican Party's redistricting majority project. Two political scientists writing for the Associated Press said the pro-Republican maps were the most extreme gerrymandering in modern history. Members of the U.S. House are not the ones who draw their own legislative districts. Obviously, that would be a conflict of interest. No, that job mostly falls to the state legislatures. The party that holds the majority in the state house typically redraws the district to their party's advantage. As Karl Rove said, he who controls redistricting can control Congress. The Republican Party's stroke of inspiration was to pump millions into winning legislative majorities into small state house and Senate races in places like Ohio, Pennsylvania, and North Carolina, ahead of the 2010 redistricting. Longtime Democratic strongholds, Michigan and Wisconsin, were targeted as well. REDMAP spent $1 million on 6 Ohio House races and won 5. Spending in North Carolina put Republicans back in control for the first time since the 19th century. The project was a stunning success. Before 2010, there were Republican majorities in 36 state chambers. After 2010, they controlled 56. Right now, that number still sits at 57. Side note for clarity, every state but Nebraska has a bicameral legislature, so that means there are 99 state chambers total. This is the reason that it was possible for the organization Fair Vote to predict a huge proportion of winners in the 2018 race for U.S. House of Representatives with a 97.5% accuracy. Even in a highly contentious year like 2018, it was possible for them to foresee most results more than a year before the election took place, without even knowing who was running. In many cases, it doesn't even matter who runs. Fair Vote predicted the results of 374 seats with confidence, saying that 208 Republicans and 166 Democrats were pretty much assured victory. They only got 11 wrong, because 2018 produced an unexpected surge for Democrats. A party needs 218 seats to have a majority in the U.S. House. Without even trying, Republicans were in striking distance of keeping their majority. Democrats needed to swing 55 seats to their side. It was kind of a tall order, but they did it. In order to win a majority of House seats, Democrats took 51.2% of the popular vote, 4.2 million more votes than Republicans got. I realize it may sound harsh to slag off on the Republicans so hard. It would be fair to point out that Democrats gerrymander for their own advantage when they get the opportunity. In Maryland, Democrats won 62% of the House vote, but took 88% of the seats. In Illinois, 54% of the votes gave Democrats 66% of the seats. But I'm not really a big fan of the hoary political cliche that says, see, both sides do it. The point is that Republican gerrymandering has become more extreme in recent history. There is an asymmetry in the diabolical lengths that one side is willing to go to grab power. But let's cut Republicans some slack and consider the broader historical context. Between 1934 and 1994, the Republicans only had a majority in the U.S. House twice. For all but 4 years of 60, they were the minority party. That's a really long time to be riding shotgun. For a variety of reasons, demographics, a rightward shift in the Democratic Party, the Southern strategy, among others, the Democratic share of the popular vote started to shrink. It went from a nationwide average of 53% from 1980 to 1992 down to 48% between 1996 and 2000. That 5% slide might not seem like a lot, but it meant that the U.S. House was suddenly up for grabs. After 6 decades in the wilderness, the GOP could finally win majority control over the legislature, control the committees and subcommittees, and most important to them, the power to determine budget and tax policy. This doesn't excuse what Republicans have done to game the system through gerrymandering, but it's at least possible to understand why they did it. Majority control of the U.S. House is serious power. After having none of that power for almost 6 straight decades, you'd better believe that Republicans were not going to let it go, at least not if they could help it. Tomorrow I'll take a closer look at how our elections ensure that only 2 parties can compete. It is our first-past-the-post system that ensures it. I know with a tease like that, there's no way you're gonna miss it. Please give a like, a follow, a favorite, and subscribe to my free Substack. Let's make them pay. See? Both sides do it.